everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hate to use the phrase illegal gun like in the title, but what we have in this video is a story of a teenager who was illegally carrying a gun, used it in self-defense, and isn't facing charges. It's refreshing, actually. But before I tell you all about it, this video is brought to you with the help of Blackout Coffee Company. Blackout is in fact my favorite coffee company. They support this channel, the Second Amendment, and even some of your favorite gun rights groups with their FPC and GOA partner roasts. So to get a cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that you can be proud of and help support my channel in the process, go to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. So, back in April, a 17-year-old was confronted by a 16-year-old outside the Douglas Community Center near the Douglas High School in Memphis, Tennessee, around 4 p.m. Initially, no details were released except that the 17-year-old shot the 16-year-old, who was later pronounced dead. But reports on the incident, while pretty devoid of information, say that both kids were hit by gunfire and that the 17-year-old ran inside the community center for help and was then brought to the hospital. After the police investigation, we learned that the 16-year-old was trying to rob the older teen. We know that both teens went to the Douglas High School, but we don't know whether or not they knew each other, what led to this confrontation, if the other kid was armed, what was going on other than the robbery. At the time, we weren't given any information, but since the original investigation that ruled it a justified homicide, neighbors have come forward and reported that there were apparently teenage illegal gambling rings happening behind the community center, and that the shooting stemmed from an altercation around that. Maybe they're not releasing that information because it involves juveniles. Supposedly, the community center and area around it are known for violence. Now, despite that, under Tennessee law, the 17-year-old is too young to be carrying a gun. So what's interesting is that the Shelby County Juvenile Court has been quoted in local coverage as saying, "It is imperative to note that the possession of the firearm in question was classified as a misdemeanor." But officials say that the teen won't be facing any charges for being a minor in possession of a deadly weapon, as Action News 5 puts it, because the case was never brought in front of the court. The police investigation shows, again, that it was self-defense and that the Shelby County DA declined to press any charges. I am definitely not complaining about a DA not charging someone who used a gun in self-defense, but it is interesting considering gun control has been a hot topic in Tennessee, and just a couple months ago, DA Stephen Mulroy did a presser with the City Council's Public Safety Committee and told them all that he plans to crack down on juvenile offenders. His office even created a new unit to tackle these crimes, saying they want to target juvenile offenders before they move on to more serious crimes. He says that they account for 20% of all crime within the city and can only make things worse. Allegedly, local mayors and nonprofits are even involved in this project. Mulroy is also pretty decidedly anti-gun, blaming the state's lax gun laws for a crime wave in Memphis. Tennessee is a permitless carry state, and during a press conference just last month, he advocated for repealing that law. If not for the whole state, he said, then at least for Shelby County. Meanwhile, the editorial pages of the local papers are full of calls for more gun control and complaints about Republicans not willing to bash people's rights. But they're mum on this one, and so are the Moms Demand Action crew, who have been lobbying in Nashville for gun laws and staging protests. There's also the Nashville 3 that rose to fame over gun control, and I'd be willing to bet they're not going to say anything about this either because reasons. It's just an interesting juxtaposition. My guess is that it has something to do with this new unit of his trying to come from a place of understanding, as they call it, as to what leads people to violence. We can certainly make some assumptions as to how a teenager got a gun in Memphis and why they were carrying it. Again, I'm not complaining about someone being allowed to legally defend themselves, and if the guy was getting robbed, that's a valid enough reason for me. But it is another example of lawmakers and officials going after legal gun owners while folks violating the laws they force on us get off scot-free. Alright folks, that is it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are new here. Ring that notification bell and drop a comment down below for the algorithm, especially if you live in Tennessee and know anything else about this story than what I reported, because I was not able to find any extra information. And I'm very curious as to the circumstances here. And in the meantime, thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and happy shooting.